So we, from the first four suffering, we went through the suffering of birth, aging, sickness. Now comes to the fourth, the suffering of death. So there are also limitless suffering in death. So the King's Instruction Sutra says, now this is Buddha is talking to the king, because the king has all the power, and wealth. Since the king is the king of the whole country, so he has every power to order what to do, what not to do, to make him happy. So now Buddha's talking to the king directly, saying, "Great kings, listen to me." So it's including to us as well. Likewise means Buddha was now describing suffering of birth, aging, sickness, so forth. Then, likewise, when you are caught on the pointed stick of the Lord of Death, means when you know that you are going to die, then you will be separated from arrogance, means so I am a king. Now there's no longer you can be arrogant to the Lord of Death. You cannot say to the Lord of Death, I am a king, No refuge. That time you have no refuge now. No protector, no support, and tortured by sickness, so you are full of pain. Your mouth will be dry, and your face will change. You move your limbs because of pain. Or your leg, your hands just shake. You cannot walk. Spittle, mucus, urine, and vomit will stick to your body. This means anything, not necessarily all to have everything there. Means you are out of control, because the pain. Your breathing will be short breath, breathe out and in because the pain. You will be avoided by physicians. The doctors, very powerful doctors come there. So no, I cannot help you. Because being a king, they arrange the best physician, doctor. Then doctor will say, I cannot help you. And sleep in your last bed means now this is the last you sleep in your bed. The continuity of this samsaric life will stop. In this life, all your activities will stop by this. There will be great fright at the messenger of Yama, the Lord of Death. Your breath will stop, and your mouth and nose will fall open. You will leave this world behind and proceed to the next one. Now you will finish this life, now we'll start next life. Transmigrating completely from one place to another, you will enter into the great darkness and fall off a great precipice. Darkness means you don't know where you're going to now. You have no idea where you're approaching. Precipice means you will face many different sufferings, fear, so forth. To the next one, says, whereas a great precipice, be carried by the great ocean of the karma, chased by the karmic wind, and will go in an unknown direction. You cannot divide your wealth. You have so much wealth you have now as a king. Now you cannot divide. You cannot carry a penny with you. No. When you cry, Allah's mother, Allah's father, Allah's son, there's no refuge, no protector, no other support except the great king, Dharma. So look at this, It's so unclear after you died. Only that person can experience, go through. We don't know. So that when you go to that kind of unknown place, Dharma is the best protector, best refuge, best companion, your friend, the strength you'll get. That's why I reflect on this. Now, this four suffering that Milarepa made such a beautiful song that I have translated in the Transformation of Suffering. In that book, if you read, very nice four songs there. I'm sure many of you have read. So look at this, Usually when you go to another place, you need a true leader, isn't it? True leader which explain you now what to see, where to go, like this all designated place. Now, after you die, now you have to go. There's no true leader. No. You are your own now. We may have real good friends in this life, companions. But after that, you have to say goodbye. So, Dharma is the only solution. That's why we need to practice Dharma. So these four is called the four rivers of the suffering. Then there's next the suffering of separating from loved one, means that when those to whom you are attached, your parents, your children, your relatives, family, and so forth, die, there is limit when they die, or they die, or they separate, there is limitless suffering in lamentation, mourning, crying, howling, and other expression of sadness. Even they are not dying, separate, they leave you. Like when you are divorced, separate. First you love so much, and then you separate. How much pain is there? Your heart is breaking. You're crying. So look at this. The suffering of meeting with those who are not dear, like enemies, refer to the limitless suffering of meeting with the hated enemies, especially those who are so powerful. They torture you. They put you in the prison or kill you. As soon as you see that, those, how much fear, suffering is there. enemies which result in fighting, quarreling, beating, and so forth. Fight each other, quarrel each other, and you are just yourself. You're completely lost in that delusion. So look at this. That's the reality. It's not just some country's culture, isn't it? It's the culture of the samsara. Just meditate on this. Now, contemplate. It makes sense or not. Nobody wants that kind of suffering. But still, we create through our delusion. So we don't want those suffering, but we create this deliberately. Then we experience. The last two suffering are easy to understand. That means the wealth that we don't have, how much we make effort to collect our wealth. Many different ways. We have to enslave our whole life, running here and there. Oh, just you have to work so hard to collect all the wealth. Then once we collect it, now we worry how to keep them safe. There may be a danger of thieves, robbers, or some powerful person come and take this away. Like when you don't have good house, we worry how to make a good house. Once you have a very good house, then how much securities you need in the house. Sometimes I feel how we can sleep, All this, the alarming systems, If somebody just kind of mistake the button at the middle of the night, and it makes whole noise. Look at those alarm systems there to protect, isn't it? Otherwise, why? All our beings are just insulated by this. First to create, then to protect. And at the end of the day, then say how much you got benefit from this. When you are aging, when you are dying. This doesn't mean you don't work. This doesn't mean you don't make effort. We need food, we need clothes, we need shelter. But this means work harder. Dharma practice. So don't be lazy. No. So now look into the world. Everywhere, all over the world. So there's no one in the world who has no problem. From head of the state to the people on the street. There's no one in the world who has no problem. This will give you that good picture, you see. Then, you have a very good reason to practice the Dharma. Loving kindness, compassion, taking care of the karma cause. You keep your mind calm, peaceful, and how to accept. Build strength, courage in your mind. Then you are happy anywhere you go. So this is why we reflect on this. When you reflect on this suffering, then gives you very clear picture. You know all the nature of the samsara. No? It will make you a sincere person, not pretending. So this is just in the human realm. So this will give you complete good understanding how to develop your mental quality. So there's two, there are two sources of peace and happiness. Material. From the material, you get a sensory. You see, a sensory happiness, joy, like these things. When these are not there, then you cannot enjoy. When there's not good food, then you cannot enjoy the food. When there's no good sight, you cannot enjoy your eyes. When there's no good sound, you cannot enjoy your ears. So to enjoy this, you have to make a beautiful place to look, beautiful people to see, wonderful sound system you have to make. It's a good smell, fragrance, and delicious, delectable food, and touch, clothes, so forth. Now, how much you get benefit from this? There is limitation on that, you see. Now look inside your mind. When you have contentment, appreciation, rejoicing, love and compassion, it's called the love, altruistic love. Altruistic love, compassion, wisdom. Then how much happiness, joy is there in your mind? See? A lot of physical problems can handle skillfully by the mind. When you have this mind training, a lot of physical, enjoyment cannot help so much to the mind. We may have a delicious food, but when your mind is in the wrong place, you cannot enjoy the food. You may have a beautiful place to live, but when mind is in the wrong place, you cannot enjoy. It's very clear, isn't it? So that's what I was talking. We're not saying this, all the material developments are wrong, but we have to have a skill how to see these things precisely and handle. Then why Dharma is so important. We can say the ancient wisdom for the modern happiness, peace. Okay. I think we are doing very good. Now, sufferings. There's now all the human sufferings, which just briefly went, and there are more individual sufferings. These are all general, all the human realm, as mentioned. In the human realm, anywhere, any corner of this world you go, you cannot find anybody who has no problem. You can say this country is the most peaceful country. Still they have problem. Now there is a demigod realm, which is, we don't know so much. The suffering of demigod is similar to the suffering of gods, with the additional suffering of demigods are more arrogance. When there's arrogance, there's more suffering. Jealousy and fighting with God. They themselves have a great arrogance, and they have a lot of jealousy to the God's wealth. When you have jealousy with somebody else, then your mind has a lot of agony, no peace. No. And then fighting with the gods. It is said, demigods have mental suffering. Means they have a lot of good place to live, but mental suffering through jealousy of the glory of the gods, you see. Now here not mentioned so much because there's a God realm suffering, the shares, you see. The God realm, the gods of the desire realm. So there's a desire realm God, formless God. So there's a desire realm God. Experience the suffering of fighting with the demigod, being dissatisfied with their pleasure. Your pleasure, this also why human beings cannot satisfy it. No. For suppose like say a nice delicious lunch, if you are satisfied, then one time is enough. So I got such a delicious lunch. Now I don't need any more because I'm satisfied. Because we're dissatisfied, we have to eat it again and again, you see. This shows we're not satisfied. Make sense? That's what it is. Sometimes we say, it's very satisfactory, we say. Then next day, you're not satisfied now. That means you are not satisfied. It's very logical, you know. The gods, I said, they are so busy being kind of, enjoying their life. They have no time to reflect in the Dharma or anything. They survive with their pleasure. Being humiliated means when they fight with the demigods, they are humiliated. And when they fight with the demigods, their bodies are cut into pieces and slaughtered, dismembered and vanished. Transference of death and falling down to the lower realms, then they have no freedom. When they die, so mostly they will die to the lower realms because they enjoyed all the interest they got from last life. If you put money in the bank, you earn a lot of interest. So if you don't put more money, if you just keep taking that, one day interest will finish. So like that, the God realms, they enjoy the interest, then they're not left. It is said, now there are 5 different sufferings in the desire God realms, at the time of death. 5 signs of death appears when gods are close to death. What are they? Their clothes become stained and filth, which in their whole life is not happens. At time of death, they feel their clothes is filthy clothes and stained. And then their garlands of flower fade. They have a flower garland on their neck, and at the time of death it fades. Then sweat comes from their 2 armpits and makes it smelly. A filthy odor rises from their bodies, and they dislike their own seat, which they use whole life they enjoy. At the time of death, then they dislike to sit there because there's now time to come to go to next. So when these 5 signs come to the God realm, in the gods, then in the desire God realm, then it's sign to go to the next life. See, the beings in the form and formless realms do not have this kind of suffering, which is in the desire God realm. They don't have that, but they suffer transference of death and have no independent location. Means they don't have power what to choose, where to born. At the time of death, even though they enjoy their whole life, at that time of death, they cannot choose their destination. Independent locations. So they will experience the suffering of lower realms. When the beings who have the pleasure of higher status, means in the higher realm, exhaust their karma, they fall into the lower realms. Therefore, the state of samsara is of nature of great suffering, like a house of blessing, fire. The entering the womb sutra says, alas, the ocean of samsara is a blessing, stream, blessing, burning. Supremely blessing and supremely extreme blessing. Therefore, there is not one sentient being who is not tortured by it. So, in the world, there's no one who is not tortured by this suffering. What kind of fire is it that blesses so greatly? It's the fire of desire, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, the 3 portions, are the root cause of all this suffering. So to get rid of these 3 portions, only Dharma can help us, nothing else. Then the fire of birth, old age, death. These are God's fire. These blaze and burn constantly by the fire of suffering, lamentation, distress, and conflict. So much conflict. Now we have those suffering. Therefore, no one is free from them. In the samsara, saying, therefore we meditate. So I cannot stay in the samsara. I must free from the samsara. So through this observation, understanding, knowing, gives us a great opportunity to dispel the attachment to the samsara. It's called the mediocre person. Thus, when one is aware of the falls of samsara, one will withdraw from the pleasure of samsara. The meeting of Father and Son Sutra, says, this is a meeting Buddha and his father when they met, after many years when Buddha left the kingdom. And then they have a lot of discussions back and forth. So in that sutra, when one sees the falls of samsara, one will develop a great sense of sadness, renunciation. When one fears the prison of the 3 realms, desire and the form and formless realm, one will make an effort to avoid them. Then, now I cannot stay any longer here. I must free from this. So all Dhamma practice you put becomes such a fruitful. It becomes a cause to free from samsara. The Acharya Nagarjuna also said it in this way. Samsara is like this. There's no good rebirth among the gods, human, hell beings, hungry ghosts, and animal. Understand that birth is the vessel of many suffering. This is the 5th chapter dealing with the suffering of samsara from the jewel ornament of liberation, the wish-filling gem of noble teachings. Now here, if you have some questions in relation to this suffering. Yes.
I have a little story, which is I heard a man on the radio who, as a young doctor, was attending Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa, as he was dying. And he said every morning he'd come to the hospital and he'd wander around doing his rounds, and he'd see these people who were sick and dying, and they'd be cranky and mean and miserable. And he'd come to the Karmapa's room, and he'd walk in, and the Karmapa would sit up with his bright glow and his eyes wide open, and he'd say, "How are you today? How's your day going? Are you getting along well with your patients? How's your family?" And this was like 20 or 30 years ago, however. And he said he still can't, just every day he remembers that, and he died. The Karmapa died right then, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And he said, but he just had no fear of it, no concern of it. He said it stuck with him forever.
That's what it means, Dharma practice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
See, everybody have the opportunity. No? We have precious human life. We have Buddha nature. So if you have a nerve, we have opportunity. Can I say that?
Yeah.
So you need to push your nerve, no?
Nerve button.
The button, yeah, not button. Yes.
I was actually going to ask you. I understand, samsara, suffering, your loved ones. That's where I have a hold up there. Can I ask you, how do you deal with, your separation or attachment for your loved ones? How do you deal with it?
You have to meditate more in the impermanence. Look at all the sections of the impermanence that we went through, step by step. Then you say you have to accept. So this accepting is the deal. It's not easy, but no choice. Yes.
And just a question on karma, which I know is probably
it's coming, yes.
But when we were talking about the formation of the child in the womb, and at one point it says, that when they get the head and the limbs, and that's the cause of karma. My question is there a time in this karmic development that let's just say a child is born and dies because he's been deformed in the womb. The child doesn't experience the suffering as greatly as the parent.
Child does, I think.
The child suffers, but their conscious suffering is very different. Well, just like we don't remember being an infant. If we died at 2 weeks old, in our memory, it's not there necessarily.
Yes.
So the parent's karma is the strongest as far as feeling the suffering at that point.
That's right.
Now, if the child is born deformed,
Yes.
and then grows up and the parents die, then the child's karma is the suffering becomes strongest with the child.
Yes.
So it's the same event, but the karmic impact is different to different people.
Yes.
So is that just a example of interdependence?
That's right. There's called collective karma. There's individual karma. Collective karma, there's between parents and the child. they have collective karma. Then they have individual karma, their own, what childs go through, or the parents go through, the mother go through, Yes. That's how it rules, you see. At the dimension, when you really see the karma, then it makes such great sense. No? Yes. Yeah, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you was raising your hand. Yes.
Back to Chopa's question
Uh-huh.
in regards to attachment. We are talking about not being attached, but that doesn't mean that we stop caring, correct? We
That's
continue-
always confused. When you don't have attachment, you don't care. That's the completely kind of what you call a wrong message. For example, Buddha has no attachment. But Buddha cares all sentient beings. Because of that, he taught all those teachings. Like here. Caring by attachment is mostly self-interested. That's why I mentioned altruistic love, caring others. When you know these things well enough, then your development of compassion is there. It's not out of attachment. It's a concern for other sentient beings that are suffering. See? Yeah, a lot of people have that kind of misunderstanding. So when you don't attach means you don't care. There's no. As a matter of fact, you can do better. You can do better help to others without attachment, because there's no involve your self-interest. You involve for others' benefit. So there's no hope and fear. See, when there's no hope and fear, you can do much better to others, because you don't expect anything from others. Whatever you do, you don't expect they will appreciate or not. As long as they get benefit, you're happy. When you have attachment, you expect, I'm attached to this, so I expect this much I give, and this much I expect from you. It's like a business, Yes.
The suffering of the two higher realms.
Yes.
The God realm and the Demigod realm. These are beings who have great power, who have great accomplishment, either through wisdom or through merit.
Through merit, I should say.
Through merit.
Yeah.
But it's those things that they are attached to that are causing their suffering. And in particular, the demigods, that's why they're in conflict, because they're jealous of the other demigods and other gods and so on. But the gods I've understood to be
very calm, peaceful.
And dispassionate.
Yes.
Not passionate.
Yes,
For the suffering of other beings.
that's right.
And they are attached to their pleasure, to their calmness.
That's
and so
right.
on.
That's right.
Could you elaborate on that? How did they how do they acquire, how do they attain that rebirth?
The rebirth, to reborn that, first you free from the 10 non-virtues. Keep the 10 virtues. On the base of the 10 virtues, keeping that moral ethics. Then you do some meditation, practicing generosity, giving. But you are not interested to free from samsara. And you can achieve that. But as I mentioned, the capital you created, and in the God realm you have no more to create further. You consume that, what you have created. When it's finished, you come back. You come back where you belong to. That's why I say the suffering of samsara from the God realm to the hell realm is so important to get a complete picture and then get the renunciation. So renunciation, as I mentioned, doesn't mean you don't eat, don't wear clothes. And so it's not attached with samsara. You get such a good picture, the real samsara. That's what this Dharma teaching is, you see. We practice Dharma for this. So we say this is Buddhism, but it's not really ism, you know. It is the reality nature. How to solve the problem. Basically, that's it. We have so much conflict in the samsara. Rich or poor, educated or uneducated, smart or not smart. There's so much conflict. To solve that problem, Dharma is taught. So that's why this you see how Dharma is precious. Now we'll start, not step by step. You see how beautiful this book is, you see. First you lay out all these things. Now next, it will describe the karma. Why all these consequences we are paying, where these are coming from. Karma. Then after this finish, then we'll say practice of loving kindness, compassion, then taking refuge, and bodhicitta, step by step, and aspiration bodhicitta, action bodhicitta. So all this, more I think, more I feel admire this book. Such a great design, the book. So we need a good teacher who can explain this, Yes.
When we die,
Yes.
how long does it take for our spirit to leave our body? And how long before we are reborn? And what happens between those times?
That is said that it depends so much individuals, first of all. To leave our consciousness or mind from the body takes from suppose 2 hours, couple days, So that's why I said that usually you do some astrology calculation. So when it's a good time to move the body, so then we don't disturb the body, the consciousness, Clinically maybe dead, but spiritually, but in the conscious maybe not left. So there are a lot of stages there. After it leaves the body, then said the length of this in the intermediate state, between 1 week to 7 weeks, basically. There's a possibility to reborn next life within a week or 2 weeks, maximum 7 weeks. So after 7th week, then that individual will reborn the next life, wherever the destination is by the karma. Yes.
Yeah, Khenchen, some tulkus are reborn sometimes several years after their predecessor passed away.
Yes.
Where do they stay in that?
I think sometimes they go to Pure Land to get some rest, vacation, then they come back. I don't know. It's a very mysterious subject. Yes, please.
I just would like to know after we die and when we still in the mother's
womb, yes.
So the baby by that time they act with the new karma, or they act with the karma carry over from last life to the next life.
Yeah, that we went through this morning, all this step by step. The day when you are conceived, and until death, until born, step by step for 38 weeks it takes generally. So during that time, yes, mostly that child or baby experience the karma of the previous life. It's possible also make karma in that, not just because the mind. And there's, so then especially after birth, then we start, experiencing the karma previous and also creating the karma for the future. Yes.
Yes, I have a question about how to help sentient beings. My thought about it is that in order to really help a sentient being, you need to have some kind of positive connection that you establish with them.
Yes.
And I think more about human-to-human
Yes.
relationship, human to animal. Is it necessary to develop a relationship before helping a sentient being?
I think in generally there is already relation. There is already relationship, because as we say prayer, all mother sentient beings. So every sentient beings have been our mother. So one or another life. Not only human beings, but even animals, insects, So there is already the connection there. See.
So, does the other sentient being that maybe I'm trying to help have to recognize that connection in order to receive the help? Or is it my responsibility as a Dharma practitioner?
So, how you can help is you develop bodhicitta. That's the best way to help sentient beings. Not literally right now you help, but in your mind. So bodhicitta means you are extending your mind towards all the sentient beings. No one is excluded. Everyone is included in your heart. Then you practice that mind, you see. Then which against to that mind, purify. which suppose that mind develop. That's what I call bodhicitta practices. There's some other mind says, no, I cannot do this. Those are contradicting that mind. Purify those. Which suppose that mind is a good idea, go ahead. So you build us more strength. Doesn't matter if you are staying in the mountain.